Hi, so today I want to give a little bit of a context to some of the comments I've been making about these arts contests and creative briefs or whatnot that's been coming out from the United Nations and other international organizations. And I just want to say, I'm not attacking or criticizing anyone in particular. A lot of times these contests are being put out by people I don't know, and I'm sure they have really great intentions, but as I often say in my responsible storytelling workshops, good intentions don't always translate to responsible work. So I just want to give my personal perspective about why these things I feel are so problematic. So first of all, I think a lot of times these contests are being driven by people who work in the formal employment sector, so they have stable jobs, stable employment, health insurance, can pay their rent or whatnot. And so the realities of asking artists who a lot of times work in the informal sector, in the gig economy, to contribute their creative work for free, I guess there's sometimes a misunderstanding about really what the consequences of asking something like that are about. So I'm going to give a little bit of context using my own career as an example. So I work as an independent filmmaker, and I get paid in a variety of different ways, but specifically I get paid to either provide a product or a service. So for example, I will get paid to deliver a workshop. I do storytelling workshops for young climate advocates, for example. I'll get paid to do that workshop. I will get paid to produce a film or edit a film as a work for hire. So somebody will need a creative professional to execute a project that they're envisioning, and I will be sort of the hands-on creative professional to execute it. Or maybe I produce my own film and I get paid by either licensing it or selling it, and whatever money I generate from that helps sustain my work in creating new content. If you've ever tried your hand at editing a short film, making a painting, doing a graphic design, I think you'll agree with me that sometimes it can be emotionally and just mentally draining. And this is what we have to do every single day to pay the bills. It's not an easy career path to choose all the time. I don't just go into an office, clock in, and then sometimes I kind of space out and whatever. I only get paid when I produce. And that is a difficult career to sometimes sustain itself. So when there are these arts contests that ask you to create artwork for free, you're basically asking me to donate my time to create content that then I can't really use to sell or shop around or whatnot, because you are putting it on your website for free. Or if I happen to become a winner in one of these sites, you want to use my artwork and broadcast it all over the place to showcase how this initiative is raising awareness about this particular issue or whatnot. But what you're doing is you're taking that creative content from me, and you're not allowing me to make any additional funding. So for example, this recent music competition sounds great. You submit your music, it gets put on this website, winners are chosen, you get paid $500, $1,000, and you get your song produced. But what I see is that you are asking all these musicians around the world to create content, create new music, put it on the website. I have to upload it to your website, which means it goes on your YouTube station or your social media station, so I don't even get the likes or the follows for my own content. Then you're able to utilize this content wherever you want, however you want, and then you choose winners that you pay, again, a small cash prize for, and in exchange, you get the opportunity to professionally produce the content. Once that content is produced, you then reap the benefits across the board. If you own the rights and that song blows up, you monetarily benefit. If it's registered with ASCAP or BMI, you get publishing rights, you benefit that way. And what do the artists get in exchange? Maybe they get the opportunity to showcase their work at a conference, but the exposure that you might be selling to that artist is really nothing more than the exposure you're getting by me posting and sharing the content with my fans or my followers. So there's a lot of problematic parts to this. The other thing that I will say is that I have donated a lot of my time for free. I've been asked to curate for free. I have produced for free. I have done a lot of stuff for free. But in some ways, I can justify it a little bit because I know by adding that work to my resume will help me get contracts, paid contracts at the UN. There are paid contracts for filmmakers like myself as videographers, as editors, even graphic designers. But there are no contracts that I'm aware of, or very few, for musicians, for poets, for dancers, for DJs, for graffiti artists or whatnot, through the formal UN global marketplace. So what I fear is going to happen is that we are going to create a culture where the UN is not going to have any incentive to provide contracts for these types of artists or even filmmakers. Because why? They're getting the content for free. And then what are we doing? We are creating a culture and a system for the creative economy where we are asking people who are already struggling, especially in the midst of this pandemic, to create content for free. I myself, I have a lot of work. I hustle. I've been doing this for a long time. I know how to get contracts. I do everything. I lost 7 gigs and opportunities in the matter of 2 days when the pandemic hit. This is nothing compared to some of the musicians I know who are really struggling, some of the poets, dancers, theater folks or whatnot. It is a real challenge. So I would challenge the UN and the international community to think through different ways to engage the creative community. You could, for example, create contracts, long-term agreements for curators like myself to help source creative professionals and help you produce content for your specific campaign. You can also put together industry-type festivals so that if, as a filmmaker or musician, I submit my content, I'm actually getting exposure, networking opportunities, mentorship or whatnot in the industry that I work in, so that it's not like an artsy, craftsy, do-gooder campaign, but you're actually saying we value the contribution of creative professionals, so we're going to welcome your content, but at the same time be conscious of what it is that we provide for you. So I do this with my Arts and SDGs Festival. I do have a call for submissions. I ask for content. I only show content during the duration of the festival. I'm not asking for broadcast rights. I make my festival private. You have to RSVP or buy a ticket, a festival pass to get into it. And then in exchange, every artist that submits content, I provide workshops on how to fundraise for projects, how to get UN contracts or whatnot. So there are solutions, and I, with my 15 years of experience doing great work, making mistakes, figuring stuff out that didn't exist along the way, I can help contest initiatives or whatnot develop this. And because I am an independent filmmaker, I do not have a regular job. Even as founder of Create 2030, it is my initiative on the side, but I can help you think through how to create a sustainable and ethical initiative for the working artist in the midst of this pandemic. There are solutions, but they have to be generated by people who work and live and survive in the way that I've been talking about. Lastly, I'll say we need to have representations of working artists at the UN. Currently, I've advocated for this for years and years and years. There is no arts envoy. There is no special working group for artists that's being led by or involving actual creative professionals. Design firms, advertising agencies, they do great work. These are not the artists and the creative professionals I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ones when you put out a call for music or poetry or whatnot. These are the ones who live and survive in the informal economy, and we need to be taking into consideration their livelihoods and what we're asking of them in this challenging time. I think that's all I'm going to say on my rant. But, I, again, am not trying to criticize anyone in particular. But I do think that the culture that's being developed is highly problematic. And the more I see these things come out, the more passionate I am about sparking a conversation and a dialogue so that we don't head down a dangerous path. Because if it continues to go the way that it is, I fear that there's going to be a backlash. And during this International Year of Creative Economy for Sustainable Development, if at the end of this year we have artists unhappy with being, working or being represented at the UN, then this year we didn't maximize it. But take for example, you want to see how the artistic community will fight back when they feel exploited. Research everything about 5 Points. Research everything about H&M and the lawsuit they tried to bring against a graffiti artist. I forget the name of the graffiti artist, but there's examples after examples after examples where there's a breaking point. And if we continue to keep asking artists to give work for free, no matter how you frame it, no matter what contest or initiative or how it is that you want to ask, if it's not done ethically well and we keep seeing it over and over and over again, there will be some backlash. I might be the biggest vocal against it right now because I'm secure in my position to be able to do that, and I have the experience to say so. But if this continues, it could backfire, and I would hate to see that because, like I said, in my UN spaces, I advocate for artists, but in my artist spaces, I'm a big advocate for the UN. I've had endless arguments, conversations, discussions with DJs, with rappers, with whatever, about why I choose to work for the UN. But that's all I'm going to say for now. Thanks for listening, and please hit me up if you have any thoughts or questions. Thanks.